a podcast to honor the gods.
This better come with a sacrifice.
Dave X Media.
The bits, the bits, the bits, the bits, the bits.
Welcome to the Bits.
Hosted by your favorite jelly buds, Charlie.
Can we stop doing this? You're confusing me. You're confusing the listeners.
Am I confusing the listeners?
I'm
I
sorry.
wasn't sure that you had started yet, to be honest. I thought you were just like hyping yourself up to like, oh, what is it? How do we start again?
No, normally I record. When I say record, I just hit record, and whatever's funny in the beginning is usually the ending thing. But welcome to the Bits, hosted by your favorite jam buds, Robert.
And Charlie.
Man, hey, Charlie.
Hey, Robert.
I think you and I should go back in time, because not to current Warp Tour. We should go back to like 2010 Warp Tour when it was good. And I believe we should bring a friend with us. Who do you think we should bring?
I think we should bring Alex from My Cabbages. What do you think?
Oh man, if only she
Oh
was
my
here.
gosh, are y'all on the way to Warp Tour too? What a coincidence.
Oh my gosh, is that Alex from My Cabbages, an Avatar podcast?
Hey.
What's going on, friends?
Hello, welcome back. Because what was the last episode you were on for? It was
Let's see.
Giant
Alex was on
woman.
for.
Giant
woman.
all we want to do is see people turn into giant women if they want to, of course.
Yeah. I am so happy to be back. Thanks for having me, y'all.
Thank you for being here.
Whenever I'm in a bad mood, like Steven Universe is just one of those comfort shows. Like people have comfort food, and like that comfort place, whether it's their bed or a nice snuggly blanket, or they go on a walk. And for me, it's cuddled up on the couch under a weighted blanket with some tea, watching Steven Universe.
Yeah. Steven Universe is the comfort. We love it.
I feel like my comfort zone would have been 2010 Warp Tour, but I can't go back in time, and apparently current Warp Tour sucks. However,
actually, this is where I have a thing. I don't think it was technically, but I went to 2015 or 16, which was supposedly like this was much later. 2018. 2018 was supposedly like, or 19 was like the last Warp Tour. Yeah, it was definitely 2018. So it was like a big FD, but they had like smaller ones, I think, since they just don't tour anymore.
Yeah.
So it's just Warped ?
Yeah. Me personally, I miss the days of buying a ticket for to watch a band, and I'd actually get a physical ticket. Now it's all like Ticketmaster, who is currently being sued. Ticketmaster, Live Nation, all that stuff, which is great.
Oh yeah, that's like, and it's not just sued. Like people aren't just like, give us more money. It's no, you have to. The U.S. government is like, y'all, you're a monopoly. Like you gotta break up.
Yeah.
And this is a BFT that hasn't happened. I think like the last thing, and Wikipedia, correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the last companies I remember the government breaking up like this was when, like, now we have all these other phone companies. We like, so it seem like choices between Verizon or AT&T or whatever, but it used to be one big company called Bell, and like they just broke it all up because the phone industry in the US got too big. So, but that was a long time ago. So yeah, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
Bring back our music tickets where the fucking fees don't cost as much as the ticket itself.
But at least we can attend this Warp Tour, which is season 1, episode 36 of Steven Universe. We did record this in order.
We totally did.
Which premiered on January 8th, 2015. Hey, Charlie, the first episode of 2015.
No way!
This episode comes out... Oh, it does not come out the first day of Pride. It comes out just before Pride. So happy day before Pride, everyone.
Hey!
Woo.
You have one last day to be straight. After that, it's a month. If you are straight for the month of June, you will be arrested.
Wow.
The first person that comes to mind for some reason is Sam, so I guess we're arresting Sam.
No.
Be gay or be a crime.
Exactly. So hey, this is something we maybe should have asked Zach why he chose this episode. But Alex, why did you choose this episode?
Well, I already mentioned how much I love this show, but when y'all asked and for people to claim what episodes they wanted to be on for, this episode came to mind because we're introduced to, first of all, the title, Warp Tour. We already got mileage out of that, so I was correct and I picked wisely. But also, my favorite character shows up.
Yeah, so how do we pronounce this gem's name? This is a question I have for all of us.
I mean,
I say Peridot because they say Peridot, and apparently, like the proper way, the proper way to say it is Peridot, and I don't give a crap.
Yeah. It's like a thing.
It's in the show, and people say tomato. So I'm gonna say it's Peridot in the show. That is how she as a person identifies. So that is how I will refer to her as, but I always just call her Perry. So
Yeah, we love Perry.
so
She's great. She's one of my
But
favorites too.
I'm also not French, and I'm assuming that this is a French thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We're gonna get into that too. So because we have a new gem. What does that mean, Robert? What does that mean?
Oh boy, you have a new gem. I mean, should we really count this? We just meet her. We don't get like her character until like next season.
We
It's
meet
true.
her.
Whatever, fine. It's time to go to the
Classroom gems and talk about Peridot, whatever the fuck you want to call her.
I'm your student showing up for class. Fill my head with knowledge.
Charlie is less of a teacher and more of like the substitute teacher who's like hungover, and they're like, okay, here is Bill Nye for the day. But instead of Bill Nye,
Literally, that's
Just brings
me.
in the TV cart.
but instead
I'm
of Bill
just going
Nye,
on
it's a Wikipedia article. Tell us about Paradots, Charlie.
Paradots. They're usually like yellowish greenish in color. We love that. Hey, did you know that this is the birthstone for the month of August?
Fabulous.
You know what that means? It's my birthstone.
No, it means it's Percy Jackson's birthstone.
It also means it's Steven Universe's birthstone. Did you know
Was
that?
Steven born in August?
8/15.
Oh shit, look at that.
There are so many of my friends or family were born in August. Like, I know 4 family members that have August 10th, just August 10th as a birthday.
8/10.
Hilarious.
It's because all them family members be fucking in the winter when, like, close quarters, man.
You got to keep warm somehow.
Yep.
Amen.
I mean, that's the way to do it, isn't it?
Yeah. So Charlie, tell us about Peridot.
Peridot. Well, yeah, it's one of the few gemstones that is only one color. That's very cool. We love that.
Oh,
We
there
love
aren't
that color.
derivations.
Yeah. Ooh, do we have our cleavage? I always love looking at that just because it's funny.
Does
our-
Peridot have tits?
Cleavage, poor. Cleavage improves with increasing iron content.
You know what? I take I'm against that. I have a problem because all cleavage is good cleavage. They're like
Correct.
all boobs are good boobs.
Like, I also love some good man boobs, right?
Yes. All boobs are good boobs. That's what I'm saying. No
Boobs.
no cleavage or boob hate here.
Boobs. All right, so let's see. The word peridot, what does it mean? Origin is uncertain. Possibly means like from a name from a type of opal, or from the Arabic word meaning gem? Faridot? Farida? I don't know. So we don't actually know what the fuck this word means, but there's a whole etymology section being like, we don't know what it is. Thank you, Wikipedia. We love that. The colors is just green, 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 green. Thank you for telling me that.
Is it like
different
are
shades
there
of
different
green.
shades of green, or is it just
Yeah,
that
there's
one?
different. There's
Okay.
like, yeah, because there's yellow green, olive green, brownish green, lime green, emerald green, There's just more of like a yellowish, I guess, in
Which
general.
makes sense because
So
the Gem Peridot show, like her costume or uniform is very different shades, varying shades of green.
yeah. Oh, we're gonna talk about those limb enhancers. Olivine, which peridot is a type? Okay, so this is like a specific type. Yeah. Wow, what's olivine? Oh, that's a green gem. At
That's
least
a
the picture
green
of
boy.
that. That's real green. Okay. Interesting. Cool. Also peridot is sometimes called chrysolite. Don't know why that is, but
It's like chrysanthemum.
yes, it is. Do we have any fun cultural history stuff for this? Oh, it has. Oh, that's funny. Okay. It's been prized since like ancient times for its protective powers to drive away fear and nightmares.
Look at that.
But wasn't Steven like afraid and superstitious like this whole episode? He's just like, what's happening?
He did
I'm scared.
got very little sleep. So I would say that this was actually a very big source of a nightmare for Stephen.
Yeah, like I think that's hilarious based on this being her introduction. According to some superstitious people, it carries the gift of inner radiance, sharpens the mind, opening it to new levels of awareness and growth, to recognize one's destiny or spiritual purpose. Okay, sure. I've never heard of this, but
Perry is
whatever.
very intellectual and is open to new knowledge.
Yeah, you know what? She is.
I wonder if they did that in the show. If they like actually tried to ascribe some of these like crystal, I don't know, meanings.
Yeah,
with air quotes
that's why I do this
to their
'cause I'm like,
personalities.
I want to see if there's anything to like what the actual gem is, and see if there's anything that they might be basing their personalities off
There's
of.
something there.
Yeah. Peridot's also often confused for emeralds. Love that. It's because they're green. Okay. Does it say anything about how they're... Oh, where they're formed? Often found in lava? We love that.
You stay at a
We
fire
love that.
queen.
We love that. It's because Perry is hot. All right. What is this? I've not seen this thing on or at least I haven't looked at it before on these pages, but one of like the gem statistic things is like fusibility.
Really? Are you reading
It
from
is?
like just general like Peridot Wikipedia page for the gem, or are you reading like a Steven Universe like fan page?
Just the Wikipedia page. Like
what?
there's like the different ways, of identifying that things are this gem, whatever. There's like the color, the cleavage. Then there's fusibility. Infusible, avoid thermal shock. Okay.
Interesting.
She doesn't fuse. Okay. Anyway, that's all I have to say about Peridot.
Peridot.
I mean, I'm not a gemologist,
Do.
so I can't speak to
She's a rock.
accuracy. Yeah, there you go.
She's a really cool rock, and
She gets my rocks off.
Hey.
Thank you, Charlie, for teaching us about Peridot. Let's talk about this episode. The episode opens up with the gems coming out of Flower Meadow, which, funnily enough, that's a town in, I believe, in Paper Mario, or Petal Metal is the name of a town in Paper Mario, and I just started playing that, so it's great. Pearl and Amethyst are like complimenting each other over their tactics, and Pearl's even like, oh my god,
they're flirting.
I think the crystal gems are just all flirting with each other constantly.
Yeah, they're all affirming and supporting each other. They're all like, they're like a good bra.
It's just three gay roommates who aren't into each other but flirting with each other. There's a popular theory. Here's the thing.
Right.
Dan and Phil. They're either two gay guys in a relationship together, or there's just two gay guys living together, not romantically involved. Either way, it's a great queer story.
All
I
right,
feel
all
like
right.
I'm speaking to like an empty choir. No one's resonating
You
with
are
this.
you are speaking to an empty choir. I know
It's
of them.
not
I know
my
they exist.
fault. I was disgusting fan trash up until like 2 seconds ago, and I still retain being disgusting fan trash.
It's a see when I hear of like a bunch of gay roommates together that are roommates, I just I go the sapphic route where every time a cis het man like looks at two girls being just super friendly with each other, they're like, oh, they're just roommates.
OMG, they were roommates.
No, like that's the joke. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're going on the warp. By the way, Steven, I guess, is allergic to flowers, which is weird.
He's super fucking allergic to flowers.
He's super allergic to flowers.
I guess it doesn't matter for the gems because they okay. Have we talked about, do gems need to breathe air or not?
No, they don't.
No, they
Okay.
don't.
So they're not going to have like allergies. This is like the form that they've chosen to take on Earth. So with poor Rose, I mean, like your mother's name is Rose, and you're like
Allergic to
son slash
flowers.
Reed. Yeah. Wait, are there spoilers? I forgot to ask.
Spoilers.
No,
We
we can do
We
spoilers.
literally
whatever.
spoiled the finale in the first
Fantastic.
episode.
Okay, so like you're allergic to your mom slash half yourself. Like, how does this work?
There are people who are allergic to themselves, and it's a terrible experience.
Oh dear.
Oh no. I'm so
Um,
sorry for them. That sounds
yeah,
awful.
I've heard of things like where people, I mean, I of autoimmune diseases and where like people are allergic to their partner's sperm, but yeah, that sounds being allergic to yourself. I don't know how that even works.
I think it's like they're allergic to like a specific like protein or enzyme or something that's like, that they're developing, or like that they need to survive, but that they're developing, so they're allergic to it.
Horrible.
It's
Well,
it's
poor
Awful.
Steven,
Horrible.
he's not faring much better.
Nah, he's
Yeah.
got them closed eyes. Or like the closed like puffy red eyes. He has his sniffles.
And then Pearl's like, you need to sneeze into your what is it? It's your elbow.
Into your antecubital fossa. And Steven's
Your
like, what?
fossa.
Steven's like, what? And she's like, this thing, points to the inside of her elbow. So they're in the warp stream. They're going back to the base, and Steven sneezes and he propels himself outside of the warp like energy. I think this is the second time this happened.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, 'cause
There was another moment where Steven accidentally was outside the stream thing. I could
it
swear.
was like I feel like that did happen for like 5 seconds, then he was taken back out of it. He didn't see much.
Yes. I think it was when they were going to the butterfly area.
Maybe.
That's what we'll remember. I hope this is in the trivia.
It should be.
But this time Steven, when his head's out, he sees another warp stream alongside, and he tries to tell the gems, "Hey, something's warping out there." And they're like, "Oh, Steven, no one else is out there warping."
Yeah,
Wait,
this entire episode could have been ended right here if at least one of these three gems. Like, I get why Garnet didn't stick her head out because she has future vision. So she's probably like, no, I haven't seen anything. Like, there's no cause for alarm. And Pearl, she is, so staunch in her ways. She's like, no, couldn't possibly. We fought for this. There's no way. But Amethyst, like, will lick the floor. Like, Amethyst would, of course, I at least be willing to stick her head out for Steven just to be like, whoa, there's something out there. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Poor Steven.
Yeah,
Gaslit by everybody.
This is just the gaslight episode, of course.
Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss.
I have questions about the warp stream and what the hell.
I do as well.
Like, this is negative space or something. I don't know what's happening here. We're in an alternate universe, pocket dimension.
It's magic, science, gem stuff. Just don't worry about it.
I mean, it is. You're correct.
My question, two questions. First is what is stopping Steven? Because like, if you were to like, get propelled in space, you would just keep going. And like,
yes,
there has to be something about this stream. There has to be like a force field or something that stops Steven, because otherwise he just keep on floating.
Technically he does, doesn't he? Doesn't he keep floating at the end?
Yeah,
at the end, but in this, when it first happens,
but because he's still connected to like the warping, I
So
think that's why.
there is a form of gravity keeping him centered in the warp stream while
Yeah.
half of him is also outside, which is weird. By that logic, I
Physics.
think he should have been decapitated, but that's not me to decide.
Agreed. Well, here that leads to my
But
second
it's
question.
light.
That leads to my second question is, because if this is like space or some negative space, as you were referring to earlier, Charlie, would his head like explode? Like, how can you be surviving in space? It has to be because he's part gem. Like, if a
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
human,
gonna say,
like, what happens to Connie or Greg if they stick their head out there?
They
because
explode.
we've already had like when Lapis like took the ocean like so far out, like Steven was in space there,
Yeah.
and
Kind of, yeah.
we just don't talk about how he could just breathe.
I just keep saying he's like Goku. That's just it. He's like Goku. Goku can also kind of breathe in like the atmosphere. He just can't breathe in space.
It's like Sailor Moon. I feel like we've talked about this, Charlie.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
all
we
the
brought in a
Sailor
new
Scouts
contender.
are part aliens, so
Yeah.
I mean, they're literally just aliens, so like that's fine. Steven's just half alien, so I concern about him.
Goku's an alien, Sailor Moon's part alien, Steven Universe is part alien. I'm hearing part. My boy Goku, he's full alien.
No, Sailor Moon is full alien.
yeah, I
She's-
Is she?
misspoke. Yeah, she's full on
Yeah.
alien.
She's
Here's
from
the
the
thing.
moon.
If my sister ever listened to this podcast, she'd hate me because I was not really a huge fan of Sailor Moon.
That's okay.
It's not okay, actually.
I mean, like, we know the truth. We will fight for power, love, and justice. But
The thing is, objectively, I know Sailor Moon, I guess, is stronger than Goku in some regards.
She is. She
Yeah.
is. She's a goddess.
Yeah.
future bonus episode where you
Future bonus
sort
episode.
all of the like, what is the gem equivalent for all of the Sailor Scouts?
Charlie, let's do a Sailor Moon podcast where I've never watched Sailor Moon really, and you've obsessed over Sailor Moon.
That's funny you say that, because
Listen.
that was like going to be our Zach and I before we did Avatar. We threw out the idea of doing a Sailor Moon podcast because at that point Zach had never seen the show.
Charlie
Oh
has
my
to come up with a name
God.
and everything because I don't know anything significant about Sailor Moon to come up with a snazzy little name for a podcast.
I literally can't do any more podcasts. I have 3. I'm spread so thin, man.
Yeah,
I'll
no.
spread you thinner.
And there's going to be so many out there already. But
All right.
the bits. The bits is one of a kind.
So it's really cold out there, and Steven's snot like freezes to his face.
Which I don't think would be good for
I
multitude
think
of
that's
reasons, but
uncomfortable.
it's uncomfortable. But he's trying to convince them, like, hey, there's something warping out there, and they don't believe him. Later at night, Steven's still awake, and then Amethyst is just eating the cheese from Macaroni and Cheese.
Yeah, okay.
She's
What?
such a goblin.
She is. Okay, do we think this is like this is the fake mac and cheese? Like, is that what that is?
Oh yeah,
Like-
that is 100% the cheese packet from like a Kraft mac and cheese box.
Exactly.
Or Easy Mac.
Yeah. I can't
But
believe
this is
it. And then-
definitely the powdered cheese, not like the Velveeta like liquid cheese.
Yeah, no, it is the powdered cheese. I see it.
And poor Steven, like, even she just keeps going and like doesn't even try to make Steven feel better.
Just like literally being like, "Oh, don't let the warp monster bite." Ha 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 ha. You totally weren't thinking about this, but now you are thinking about it. You're going to stay awake all night. She made it worse. Like there's the gaslighting, and then there's also like, haha, the thing is going to like come out from the warp and it's going to attack you in the middle of the night. So because of that he doesn't sleep. He might have slept before.
He might have, but now he has the anxieties.
So he stays awake all night with a little water gun. We love that. This is the weapon of choice. And he's standing at the door waiting for it. When the gems come out and like, "Hey Steven, we have a surprise for you." But like he's like asleep but not asleep, so he squirts Pearl in the face. And now we can't get cookies that Garnet made for that. Garnet making cookies.
I think this is the first time I've seen Garnet bake anything.
Yeah.
When did she get good at baking all of a sudden?
Why is she bothering to wear oven mitts?
Because it's hot.
Maybe that's because just what she's seen Steven do. Maybe she doesn't realize that they're for preventing like heat transfer. Because I don't know how gems like perceive, like, do they perceive hot and cold? Probably not. So to guard it is just like, oh, this is what humans wear. So I'm gonna, it's part of
Yeah,
the
because like
process, the recipe.
I think it was in an earlier episode or something that only she could survive lava, right? So like she could just like touch the oven and it'd be fine.
But she can't do that because then Steven will touch the oven and he'll be like, ow. I saw a TikTok the
True.
other day where it's like a video game where you play as a cat and the player like puts the cat paw onto a hot pan and it just like cat screech and then cuts away. And I'm like, oh, that's I'm a sucker for unexpectedly like cut videos or whatever.
Okay.
Pearl specifically states nothing on Earth can warp can use the warps but us. And Garnet's like, hey, to ease Steven's paranoia, let's go around to all the warps and see if someone's there. And so we
And
kind of
like
get we kind of get like a
Travel montage.
travel montage.
like we get to check in on all the places that we've seen in like
Yep.
all the different episodes that like we're like that's not plot relevant, don't worry about it, whatever, but like it's fun, it's cute. Hey look, giant woman, we see Steven Jr. Is a father.
Meh. I
Yeah.
was upset. Is there a warp that goes to Watermelon Steven Island or no? Do they have to just swim there?
I I
'Cause
can't
I would have
remember if there
loved to get a
is.
check-in here.
I don't, well, yeah, we're not gonna see that for a little bit, but I can't remember if there's a warp there or if it's just that Steven always, because he goes into the dreams and then he becomes a watermelon. So I don't know why he wouldn't just warp there. I don't know. I can't remember if there's a warp. But yeah, so we see Steven Jr. and what else do we see? We see the geode.
The geode, yeah, that was
That's holding nicely.
yeah, I was gonna say according to Pearl is
Even though it's just duct tape. Like I love that. Duct tape can fix anything.
Currently, my fridge has a problem because I have like my like condiments, my milk and stuff in like the door supported thing, and sometimes if you close the door too hard it will release and unleash everything into the fridge. So I solved that problem with duct tape.
Love that for you. Duct tape
Exactly.
can fix anything.
But can duct tape fix my broken heart?
I was about to make that joke.
Well, neither of us have broken hearts, Charlie. We're both in happy, healthy relationships.
yeah,
So
Exactly.
and I'm so happy for both of you. But theoretically, if one of our hearts was broken, I feel that like if you put it together with duct tape, it would not only work, but then you would like attract like moths to flames all of like the goth and like artsy kids. Because like I'm not sure if this was a thing for y'all, but I remember growing up like people would make dresses and tuxes out of like duct tape for prom. So
I
like
don't remember this. I
yeah.
remember like the duct tape purses and wallets and that kind
Oh,
of
this
shit.
was yeah, but people took it to a whole nother level and like made clothing. Yeah, it was wild. So I feel that like duct tape heart, you're getting a someone is gonna like come. All the emo kids are gonna be like, please let's show our broken hearts together and then we'll heal.
Aw.
Yeah,
That's so cute.
right.
Amazing. Well, our lovely gem friends are now at the galaxy warp to make sure that no one can get on this planet.
Alleviating Steven's anxiety because that's all it is, right?
I am confused on how these things got to the planet. Like did were they in a ship that we just didn't know about? Like cuz the galaxy warp isn't working.
So how did they get
warp
there
here?
in the first place? Yeah,
Plot hole?
I mean it's not like Peridot was like on a ship?
Yeah, I mean Peridot didn't need to be on a ship yet. So like did these things get sent here or reactivated or something remotely? Maybe that's it. Maybe they were in the kindergarten or something and got reactivated, or maybe they were sent here in like a small little ship that was unnoticed.
I guess, yeah. I mean, they have pretty advanced tech, and this is like the first time we're exposed to like this more advanced gem tech, and we still don't know what it is and question marks, but I think it would scan. I mean, we see examples of other ships later in the show. I think it would scan that they have like AI or like Peridot's able to like remotely command a ship to get there.
Yeah, because we just need to fix the warps and then she can come over.
Yeah, they got to shoot their goo, my dude, to fix the warp pads.
I
It
love
looks
that.
like
They're
toothpaste to me.
I was gonna say
Nah.
it's either
Mint
toothpaste
toothpaste.
or it's something else.
Or
Either
it's
that.
cum.
Oh,
We're just saying it's
God.
cum. We're just saying it's cum.
I
Cum.
was
It's
gonna
cum.
I was gonna say birthday cake, like ice cream frosting, but then yeah, y'all ruined it. It has sprinkles and stuff.
Alex
If-
is too pure for
I-
for
I-
this.
if you have sprinkles in your cum, you need to go see a doctor right away.
But why did you go like okay, well now y'all went there. So my question is when the gems come, like are there sparkles in it or like different
Yes,
like
there
mica,
definitely
like
are.
it glitters. So okay, well I guess that yeah.
Every
I
time they
think the
come,
gems
they just have like a
sparkle.
Sailor Moon transformation kind of vibe.
Okay, well, I mean, yep, that's what it is.
That's what it is. Where are we up to again? It is
Okay. So we've the galaxy warp is not gonna work. It's got our crying breakfast friend sticker that we already remember Steven put on there himself. And now the gems are all telling him exactly how he's feeling. Or I should say Pearl is telling him how he's feeling. Steven feels much more secure now. And we have something interesting happen. Steven and Pearl fight. They get into an argument.
Yeah. I mean,
And
poor Steven.
And Garnet and Amethyst are like, what? Huh? I think this is why Garnet's future vision wasn't working, because she was just like, this is different. I wasn't expecting that. Okay. She's not anticipating what Steven's gonna do.
no. It's sort of like how Taskmaster is a villain whose concept is he mimics people, or like he's able to like predict and mimic. The only person he's not able to do that to is Deadpool, because Deadpool is so unpredictable.
Ooh.
Steven's gotten too unpredictable.
Steven has become Deadpool. The next episode, Steven will be voiced by Ryan Reynolds.
First, Percy Jackson is Ryan Reynolds, then Steven Universe is Ryan Reynolds.
Now we just need Aang to be Ryan Reynolds, and we'll have all three of our little ADHD boys as Ryan Reynolds.
There you go.
They're like,
We
okay,
actually come back.
they come back, and what's it called? Steven is like watching the warpad in the house to make sure nothing happens. Amethyst comes around and says something. Oh, my favorite part is that Amethyst is like, hey, what are you eating? He's like, macaroni.
And nothing.
So what happens inevitably is that a metal robot crashes through the roof, sees the warp pad. Steven tackles him and it breaks, like it chips the warp pad, but the robot, comes on the crack and fixes it. We're doing this. We're committing to this bit. This is an explicit podcast. We're earning this rating.
Out here working not
Also-
too far.
Also, Steven looks like he's on drugs. Like with
Steven
his
is
eyes
not having
now.
a good time.
Well, this just
yeah.
shows what sleep deprivation does.
Yeah, sleep deprivation is not good.
It's not.
He struggles with the robot until inevitably a bunch of robots like pile up on him and push him out of the warp pad stream, and he's like looking at all the different warp streams and he's like, I was right, now I'm gonna die. And then Garnet manages to save him at the last moment.
This is where
Yeah.
I'd get upset because it's clearly been several days and Steven hasn't slept at all. He is so paranoid and he just wants to be believed. There is nothing there is zero harm for the gems. They can't breathe air. They're not going to be like frozen. They can be exposed to the elements. There's nothing that is going to hurt them by just being like, okay, Steven, if that's basically the equivalent of your parents when you're younger coming into your room and being like, oh, there's monsters under their bed, and your parents being like, nope, here's all the reason why monsters aren't real, and you're trying to like negotiate with a terrified child. Like, just look under the fucking bed. So it wouldn't have hurt them to just look out the warp and be like, oh fuck, Steven's right, or see, Steven, there's nothing here. And it's just like, and they see how much he's suffering. He's not sleeping, and it's just, yeah, it's really upsetting to me. And I don't feel like it gets enough justice. Like after Garnet rescues Steven from the second time, she's like, I'm so sorry, Steven. We should have believed you. You're a crystal gem too. And that's it. Like, nah, we need more.
Yeah, we do. This is another reason why Steven needs therapy. Not being believed. All the gaslighting. Wonderful. So we follow this little Robonoid guy to the galaxy warp. All of them have congregated there. They're all coming on it,
And they're all coming on it.
and now they fixed it.
It's
What? Why did they fix it?
It's a robot orgy, I guess.
It is a robot
A
orgy. You're
roborgy.
correct.
A roborgy, yes. And now that they fixed the galaxy warp, someone comes there, and it's this weird Dorito-shaped gem.
Another gem.
Huh?
This is our
What's
first
that?
time seeing another gem on the show besides the core 3 that is not like a flashback.
And well, after Lapis.
That's true. Sorry, we did see Lapis.
This is our first one that's come from off planet, and it wasn't already on Earth.
There you go.
So there you go. Also, I just had a thought. So the little robots are called Flask Robonoids, and I mean she's Peridot, so like and they're her little guys, so you could call them her Perinoids.
Paranoid.
There you go, because Steven's been paranoid this whole episode.
Very good.
You're welcome. So we see her, and she's doing her weird little thing with her fingers. I'm sorry, the fingers that detach. I know that they're not her real hands, but like we didn't know that at first.
It's always so funny to me how our first introduction to Peridot, she's this menacing looking, intimidating, like authoritative figure looking kind of person. And then later on we get like jokester Dorito, who's literally a Wile E. Coyote parody.
Literally, it's amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
they had to like show her at her like, her scariest, and then they bring her back down to our level so that we can like sympathize with her. So, yeah, so she's like doing her analysis and her little what do you call that? Like she's giving her reports on like what the heck is going on here. They fixed the galaxy warp. She's got all of her Robonoids, her Paranoids. Also the gems had to like Garnet had to bring the gems like out of the way so that they could not be seen, because they're like,
Thank God for Garnet thinking on her feet here.
so Steven is just watching her, and then she steps on the tiny broken Paranoid thing, like dead, because it was broken. So you're not good enough. Tells you a lot about Gem Society right there.
Yeah. Which sucks because Perry is like already at the bottom. So like the only way that I feel that she has any power is by exerting force on the people below you. Under pressure. Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, do we have to talk about the limb enhancers and how tall they make her? Because like I've been trying to figure out how tall she is with and without them. Because she's about the same height as Steven. And I think we figured out Steven is like, 4 or something. He's like shorter than 5 feet. So she's like shorter than 5 feet. Did the limb enhancers make her like 5 foot something or like 6 feet? I'm not sure.
I wouldn't say 6 feet. I would say like somewhere between 5 and 6. They had, I think, like maybe like a foot, maybe a foot and a half.
Okay. It's like I'm getting a few different answers when I try to Google how tall is Peridot.
I think the best thing to do, I want to go back and rewatch the episode and then see kind of like scale wise. We don't get a lot of her here, so this would not be a good episode, but in the future, maybe she's like before they're on the farm or whatever, like when she still has them, seeing like how tall she is in comparison to other objects within the scene, and then you can estimate how tall those are. I don't know. Math.
I mean, I guess she also doesn't have the limb enhancers very much when she's with the other gems, too.
Yeah, she loses them pretty early on.
Yeah, they're iconic, but they're also, like, they're gone very quickly.
Yeah.
All right, so Peridot sees the little sticker of the crying breakfast friend, is like, this location is compromised. Gotta get the fuck out of here. Warps away and makes all the Robinoid paranoid things like turn off. So they're gone. She's gone. And what happens when the crystal gems like are like, who the fuck is she? What's going on? Garnet's like, she's not coming back here.
And then she like Hulk smashes the galaxy pad.
Literally.
Ugh. Splooged my lady pants.
And the episode just cuts to black. So that's pretty dramatic. Gotta love it.
Garnet and Steven did all the work this episode. Amethyst just was Amethyst and ate Steven's food and cracked jokes, and Pearl was very rigid and, but never at any point I hope we get resolution in a different episode, because like Pearl just like never apologizes to Steven.
Yeah. No, she doesn't.
No one ever does. It's also weird. I think this is the first time the episode just cuts to black instead of having the star fade.
Mm-hmm.
So we know shit's getting serious.
It ends with as much force as with Garnet bringing down her Hulk smash.
Well, Ribbert.
Charizard.
What time is it? Where are we going?
It's time for
Crystal Temple Trivia.
So when Peridot leaves, Pearl says they're coming back, which means the gems know more about like the gem society and what's alluding to the events of the return. Who is they? Maybe that's just Peridot's pronouns. Maybe just Pearl's just cool and woke like that.
I mean, I feel like it just alludes to like, yeah, the gems in general are coming back to the planet.
I also think it's interesting, and this is like, this will be the one hole that I poke before we leave, and it's how Peridot just like shows up, and she just so happens to be choosing a humanoid form, and also this is her first time like that we can imagine like her coming to Earth or anywhere close, and she just automatically speaks English or like in a language that Steven can understand. So yeah. I have questions.
I mean, the gems do all assume humanoid form.
Sure, but that's when they come to
But why do they
Earth.
Speak common? Why do they speak the common language? That is a question.
God, I hate that. I hate like games and other media that are like, oh, it's not English, it's just common. I'm like, I don't know why it bothers me so much.
Sorry, that's just
no.
D&D
no, like it doesn't bother
too.
me in a way that I'm like, oh, stop. It's this weird irk in my brain.
Yeah.
I get you. So the way that Garnet like grabs Steven when she's trying to save him from like the warp, it's a reference. It might be a reference to a short that Rebecca Sugar made called "Singles."
Ooh,
I didn't know about that.
Well, yeah, I think we might have referenced this earlier, but it is the first episode of 2015. So
wowzers.
Back in the day.
A new year.
New year, new Steven.
New year, new Steven. This is also an episode that we find out that Steven is allergic to flowers.
For some reason, my brain like puts that and like when they were in the strawberry fields, like what together for some reason. Like he's allergic to the plants and the flowers, but like that's not related at all. Oh, that's interesting. So like on Peridot's touchscreen, there's like some symbols that kind of resemble Arabic script. Interesting. Cool.
This is what I'm clearly a fan of, and why one reason I wanted to be on the episode. The title is a reference to Van's Warped Tours for all the people that are too, I guess, young or old to remember this, but it was the musical highlight of the aughts, and emo and punk kids everywhere could come together in peaceful coexistence. Like all the metalheads, the goth kids. There was something for everybody at Warped Tour. It was wonderful. R.I.P.
In this episode, Amethyst says, "Don't let the warp monster bite," which is a parody of the phrase "sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite."
which
Ayy.
fuck this, why I even hate this episode even more, because as someone who had to deal with a place full of bed bugs in my apartment, it was not great. I had a mental breakdown when I was in college. Like, no,
Oh, no.
So now every time people like start to say that, I'm like, don't even go there. Don't.
I'm so sorry, babe.
Oh, it's okay. I've known plenty of people that have had them. It's fine. Just like, it's just a part of my life that I never want to relive ever again.
Yeah.
We talk about paranoia. That's what made me paranoid this episode.
Sure sounds like it would. Well, we have the galaxy warp again in this episode that first appeared in Space Race. And hey, look, we got the crying breakfast friends stickers that Steven also put down in Space Race. Love that. Love that continuity.
The geode in the episode House Guest that comes back, and specifically we talked about the duct tape and how that was used to mend the geode, and Pearl's like, looks great.
I'm so glad.
So hey, guess what? Steven Jr. from Giant Woman makes a reappearance, and he's revealed to have kids. Steven's a grandpa.
Yay! Steven's a grandpa.
To twins, at least.
Good job, Steven. So Perry, we love Perry doing her like log entries, like iconic thing that she does. So when she does this, she's like, locate and manually reactivate the kinder, and then she like is interrupted. But she's talking about the kindergarten, which first appears in On the Run.
Jam on the run, jam on the run. But
Perry doesn't actually access the kindergarten until the episode Marble Madness. So
this is where we show, and as evidenced by our two lovely hosts, how much we hate the English language here, because when Pearl mentions that they are coming back, we don't know if this is prophetic, aka there's actually going to be an allusion to a they, multiple people, or if they're just referencing Peridot's pronouns. We don't know. Fix it. Do English language. Do better.
And then, last but not least, the weighted gauntlets from Garnet's universe, where Garnet made them big, appear at the end of the episode. Now it's time to award our Pearl points. Who are we giving our Pearl points to? I'm giving mine to Steven Jr. for being a good dad.
I'm thinking about it. I mean, can we give it to the one little paranoid that got broken? That poor little, that's a poor little guy right there. He's just a little guy. He just got a little cracked, and Peridot squished him. He was just doing his job. And, like, Steven attacked him, and then Peridot killed him. Poor guy. Rip Paranoid. 2015.
Sorry this makes me a downer, but I'm giving Pearl points to nobody, because, like, unless it's Steven, because no one listened or believed Steven, and, like, until it was Garnet. So I'm still upset that Steven didn't get his just due, but Garnet's always the one to like come back and apologize. So
yeah, it's
Steven just trying his best.
Garnet's the bigger person out of all of them. Quite literally. The question. Oh god, what is the question? If you could warp anywhere in the world, where would you warp to?
I would warp to, I don't know, I want to go to Japan, so I'll go to Japan.
You would just have like your own warp pad that goes to Japan whenever you want.
I mean, the alternative is being like, oh, I would go to Jupiter, and then I would fucking explode and die because I can't breathe on Jupiter.
I normally, there's a million places that I would love to travel to, but I'm gonna be really stereotypical right now and emotional and say I want a warp pad to my parents' place, because it's 5.5 hours away, and I really miss my mom. We had Mother's Day, I couldn't be with her, and it's just like, yeah, I want a hug from my mom.
Aw,
yeah,
that's very good. That's very sweet. So yeah, I always ask the question, and then I'm like, I have no freaking clue what I want to do. No, maybe I warp to Greece. Maybe I warp to the
Greece would be pretty rad.
So before we leave, Alex, if you can tell us again who you are and what you do on the internets.
Absolutely. Thank you again for having me. My name is Alex. I am a co-host with my lovely partner Zach over on another podcast on the DXM network, My Cabbages and Avatar podcast. We're currently we're wrapping up right as this episode is airing our first season of Legend of Korra. So go check us out wherever you get podcasts. You can also find us on Instagram and Threads at My Cabbage Cast, and you can email us at mycabbagecast@gmail.com.
Hell yeah.
And now that we're done, hey, Charlie,
Hey, Robert.
if every podcast were perfect,
We wouldn't have the bits.
bye!
Bye! Touchy bye.
You can follow this podcast socials at The Bits SU Pod on Instagram and Tumblr. You can send a message to our Diamond line through thebitssupod@gmail.com. Be sure to give us a rating, a review, or let your friends and followers know how much you love the podcast. That really helps. Our music was written and produced by Jason Hilton. You can find him at Negative Selections on Instagram. You can follow me, Charlie, at GreenPixie12 on most platforms, and I also have an art Instagram at GreenPixieDraws.
You can find me, Robert, at the Damn Meme page on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Damn is spelled D-A-M. If you want to hear more from me, check out one of my many podcasts. I have a Once Upon a Time podcast called Entering Storybrooke, a Kim Possible podcast called That's a Sitch, and an Osman Verse podcast called the Truum Grammar Book Club.
The Bits is proud to be a part of Deus Ex Media, which features great podcasts like My Cabbages, an Avatar podcast that follows the true hero of the Avatar The Last Airbender series, the Cabbage Cart Guy.
Coffee, tea, honor, cabbage. Long ago, the four elements lived in harmony. Then, shit went totally cray when the Avatar attacked. Only the Cabbage Man, merchant of fine cruciferous vegetables, could stand against his trolling. But when the world needed some dank veg, he vanished. 10 years have passed, and my partner and I have started a new podcast.
My Cabbages! An Avatar podcast.
A weekly show about Avatar The Last Airbender. Whether it's Sokka's new line of cologne,
Hey, look at you, sitting there on a seal. Well, now look back at me. I'm on an even bigger seal. Now look away.
D&D related antics,
You have to make an acrobatics check for that, and Aang just like unzips his pants and whips out his d20s. He's just like, I got this.
or randomly breaking into song.
Go bending waterfall.
We'll stumble our way through the greatest show ever made, one episode at a time.
You can reach us at CabbageCast, which is our Twitter, or
Subscribe wherever you catch pod.
Rotten cabbages? What kind of slum do you think this is?
Whoa! Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit this and like schedule it, and when it's uploaded this Friday, I will switch around and then just gaslight. Just gaslight. We
Just
uploaded these
gaslight
in the
everyone. I already scheduled the posts. The one for this episode is coming out first.
Yeah, exactly. And then what
Zach?
we're recording with Ray tomorrow is going to be swagalicious.
Ooh, that's a good word. Swagalicious, word of the day.
I did leave a hint in the last episode. I did leave like talking about like, oh, we're recording this in the right order, at the end as a singer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep, totally.
Honestly,
But,
I would have had no idea until y'all mentioned something, or Zach, who I think is supposed. Yeah, he went back in time.
He's the next guest for the next episode.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I totally didn't screw up our schedule when I put in our Pride episode.
Dave X Media.